new survey from the Pew Research Group says 39% definitely or probably will not get a coronavirus vaccine. Experts say if at least 75 to 85% of the U.S. population does get vaccinated, we could see some sense of normalcy back by the latter part of next year. But medical experts are said to be particularly concerned that members of minority groups have expressed reluctance to get the shot. Our Rudy Trevino reports tonight on what members of our local COVID task force are saying about that.
According to U.S. data, the largest ethnic groups in Corpus Christi are broken down into 5 groups. Hispanics at 61%, white at 28%, African American at 3%, Asian at 2%, and other non-Hispanic minorities at about 1.5%. While experts say there is no need for concern over the efficacy of the COVID-19 vaccine, the groups who are hesitant to get it are among those who make up the majority of the population in Corpus Christi.
I think it's an issue around the world.
City County Health Director Annette Rodriguez says the hesitancy among minority groups isn't uncommon.
With the vaccine coming, I am concerned that there are some people that are worried about whether to get vaccinated or not. But on the other hand, there's not enough vaccine to vaccinate everybody. And so it almost it works itself out, believe it or not, because it gives them time to decide whether they want it.
I think part of the hesitancy is because they're thinking that the vaccine was developed very fast, that it must not have been well thought of, that it was made haphazardly.
The president of the Nueces County Medical Society says once the vaccine makes it to the frontline people, such as medical personnel and first responders, those at high risk and over 65, the message should be widely publicized that everyone needs to be vaccinated, for one, because it'll save lives.
It is safe for us to receive, and it will protect us from the illness. Now, if we are protected, therefore we are healthy, and therefore we can work, and therefore we can contribute to our economy to move forward.
Dr. Philippe Toussaint with Texas A&M University Corpus Christi and a member of the local COVID-19 task force says it's a matter of educating the community, and a little inspiration goes a long way.
My recommendation is to have publicly, basically leaders. I think former President Obama, Bush, and Clinton getting their vaccines live in front of everybody, and maybe ask some of our community leaders to do the same thing here.
Rudy Trevino, 3 News.
That's my